A dad who draws.
Hi, my name is Kurt Asplund, and I'm a dad who loves to draw.
The Daily Draw.
It's a great class that I have created to help you really get good at drawing. You know, over the years, I've realized that the best way for anyone to improve is to draw a little bit every single day. But when you're doing it alone, a lot of times you can lose focus. So with the Daily Draw, you can tune in 15 minutes a day, spend some time with me. I go live, and if you miss the live, you can look at the recording of the day and just draw the exercise that I will demonstrate.
And you will discover some great success. Can't wait to see you in the class. Thanks. My name is Kurt, and I'm a dad who draws.
How did you like that? Hello, everyone. Hello. Let me just get here. How is everyone doing tonight? I am so glad that you are here. Let me see here. We got to turn this thing on, right? It is Monday night. My name is Kurt, and I am a dad who draws. And you are, let's see now. There we go. Turn that on right there. And this is our Monday Night Live, where we get together every Monday night and we go through usually a landscape of some sort, but we've broken that up quite a bit. Hey, Joe. Joe is ready to go, and I see Leah as well. It's always good to have people to keep me company. I do appreciate it. Anyway, so yeah, what we this is we do this every Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. If you want to join our Facebook group, we will vote during the day on what picture we want to draw. So this was our winner tonight, which should be a lot of fun to draw. And I also offer a couple different classes. One being the Daily Draw, and you can find a link down in the description for that. And we have a brand new class that starts in August called 20 Days and 20 Hands. 20 hands in 20 days. So I'm going to show you the 20 key hand positions that once you get those down, conquering the drawing the hands should be a lot easier than where you're at right now. So anyways, I will put a link for that also in the description here as soon as we're done. But that's all I got for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get this going. Oh, hey, Lynn. Yeah, you found it. I knew you could do it. So let's get this rolling here. If you have any questions, I'll be checking the chat. So just shout it out down there, and we'll see how we do. Okay. So let's talk about approaching a landscape, a drawing, and you know, a lot of times I like to approach drawing something with these three ideas. I like to think of gesture. Then I go into construction. And then I go into detail. Now, in our example tonight, there is some construction, but we are, you know, we're looking at this from, hey, Mariana, you are up late. We are going to be looking at this from a little bit of a distance. So there is construction, but what I like to do, and I think it's a little bit easier, is if we look at a big picture and then just break it down by shapes. And then we go into those shapes and break those down just a little bit. And then we start adding details. So the breaking down of shapes is our process of construction per se, and then when we get into those end up being details. So let me show you one more thing I want you to be aware of, and this concept of value or tone. Okay, I usually try and think of basically three tones as I draw something. So you might have, like, let's just say we have the white of the page, and this is probably one step below a white. Okay, and then we're going to have our middle tone. You know, we want to darken that up just a little bit. And when you're adding tone, you really want to make sure that you don't go too fast, because you don't want the you don't want little little slivers of the paper showing through. You're looking for a very even tone. And of course, our last tone is going to be super black, or as dark as you can put it on your paper. Okay, so what we're looking for is we're going to try and work within 3 tones tonight. Within, let's just call this tone number 1, tone number 3, 2, and then number 3, and then within 1, you might have some slight variation, but it's subtle. And then in 2, you might have some slight variation. So what we're doing is we're trying to organize our values that keep them really within 3 different categories. Okay. And let's do this. What did I just do here? We'll just duplicate that. And we're getting rid of that. Move that over. Hold on here. I gotta do a little house cleaning. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started tonight as we look at this beautiful landscape of this awesome looking mountain range. So first thing I'm going to do is if you're working on a sketchbook, because we are going to complete this within an hour, don't go so big. So if your sketchbook is like 9 by 12 or an 8.5 by 11, come down a little bit. Come down in size a little bit. What's this one here? This is like this little notepad. I think is like 5 by 7, maybe 5 by 7. So, and of course I'm in the United States, so we still use dumb inches. We're not using metric as much as we should. But anyways, about 5 by 7 is what you want to look at. Okay, that's a good size to work from. So what I like to do then is when I start a picture, even in my sketchbook, I like to get some type of border going. Some type of border. And when I'm drawing, I'm using my elbow a little bit. So when I'm drawing these straight lines, I'm trying to keep my wrist nice and locked in, and this helps me to get a nice even straight line. Okay. Look over here, and then looking at our picture here, let's start to put some different things in and get. I'm going to change the camera just a little bit there. Let's get some different. Start measuring some things out here. So look at the sky. I'm just going to put a little mark down here on the side there. That will kind of give me an indication of how far to come down like that. You see that? That's kind of where I'm looking at. And then let's come to the other side here, and I'm just going to come down with a mark like right there, I think. All right, and I'm going to very lightly just come across like that. That's going to be my tree line right there. Okay, I'm going to come down just a little bit here, maybe just like that. All right, and now this one's going to go straight across. All right, so we're going to just straight across there. And then let's come down just a little bit more. I'm going to come down maybe just like that. Okay. This is where my stream is going to end up going. And then let me bring this up here. See that right there? I want to make that mark on the page, but I'm going to do it lightly, okay? So I'm going to estimate. I'm going to keep it high. I'm going to go right about there. All right, let's make sure we give enough stream here, okay? As far as my stream goes, on this far side, I'm going to put a little mark right about there. Okay? And if I end up going too fast, please, somebody ask me to slow down, okay? And then looking at the other side, we're going to put our next mark right about here. You see this? So we're going to put our mark right about there. Okay. All right, let's get our left bank here, and so let's just kind of come in here very, very lightly, like this, and then it's going to have a slight curve around, something like that. Okay. Just let me know if I go too fast. If you start falling behind, we'll slow down, okay? So I'm going to come in here with this bank right there and just kind of make this shape right there. There's a tree right there. You see this? And then the river goes behind that. So we want to be aware of that. I'll leave that up for a second while we finish our drawing here. Okay, so we could use that tree almost as a guide in a way by just coming up here with a straight line. Remember, keep this light. Alright, so I'm going to come in here with a slight curve. Wow, I already made a slight mistake. That's what we do around here, right? We like to make mistakes. Look, and this will happen. This is why we start drawing lightly, so we can make adjustments as we go along. But look at this. Look what I did here. Look at the size. Where am I now? Look at the height of this tree from there to there. You see that? And look how much higher mine is. So I've really got to come up just a bit more. So we'll draw a new line right there, and we'll fix that. The other one will be covered up with bushes, but nonetheless, right? These things happen all the time. Okay, let's get this mountain range in, and I want to show you a trick. You know, a lot of times when we're trying to get our proportion right, so there are certain tools that I like to use to get my proportion right. And one of them is drawing the negative shape of something. So like, instead of trying to draw the mountain, I'm going to draw the negative shape, meaning I'm going to draw the sky. So let me show you. So if over here, if I look right here at this mountain range, and I just kind of like roughly saw this. You see that? See that shape right there? Okay, that might be a little bit more easier to draw, that angle. So that's what I'm going to do right here. So starting, I'm going to come up like this angle here. I'm going to draw this just lightly there. Okay? Lightly. And the other, look at this. This is almost That's almost a straight line right there. You see that? So that would be the next one I'm going to put in. So this, I'm kind of looking for this shape right here. And you could go back in. Now I'm going to go in and erase this extra little line there, and I end up having a nice mountain range. Okay, let's look at this now. Let's get this big tree in here, and I'm gonna get a new layer. Oops. Let's just kind of get a feel for this. Look at this tree starts here and it comes all the way down like this. You see that? Let's get that tree in. So we're gonna start up here, and it's gonna end right about there. So this doesn't have to be perfectly straight because it is natural. And this will give us some guidance for that tree coming in there. All right, it looks like there's another mountainside coming in here. You see that? Right there. So that is essentially, I think our the big regions that we see. All right. Let's maybe break some of these down. Just, no, I think we'll just go with that. But I do want to point something out to you here, and I want you to be aware of this as we draw. I like to try and describe to you what I'm seeing, so that I can teach you what to see. All right. For example, look at these bushes over here. You see these? They're kind of flat like this on top, and then they turn a corner. Don't draw this like this. I'm just pointing that out to you. All right. And then you can almost see the same thing happening over here. You see this? They're kind of coming in, and where the water is cutting loose. So keep that in mind, that this edge of this bush is coming, and then it just drops straight down. All right. All right, let's tackle these. Let's start at the tip top here and kind of work our way down. And let's start with this mountain, these mountain peaks. First, these mountain peaks are going to be have a lighter value because they are further in the distance, and we can make it look further in distance by making it a lighter value. That's called atmospheric perspective. There's a lot of moisture between our viewpoint and that mountain range, and so it makes the images become a little bit less contrasty. Okay, so I'm going to start at that peak there at the top and just start to think of this idea. Let's just say that is a peak of my mountain, and I'm simply going to think of, like, okay, there's going to be a light side and a dark side. You see that? It's not that simple, of course, but just slowly make your way back and forth looking for triangles as you break this down. So let's see how we do here. So I'm going to start over here and just kind of follow the ridge line now. I'm going to get a little more detail. Something like that. And the same thing, I'm going to work my way down the other side now. Just going to go nice and slow. It doesn't have to be exact, but really take a look at that mountain range. Now I'm gonna look very closely. I'm squinting my eyes. Look, see, I'm squinting my eyes. Squinting my eyes as I look at this, and I'm gonna start just looking for the different shapes, and I'm just gonna start to slowly put them in. I'm looking for big shapes too. Just go slowly. Okay, once. No rush. Try and get a nice even tone. Did you all notice this big, looks like this darker mound here, right? I'm just going to tone that whole thing in. So I've just come in with one overall light tone. All right. Now I'm just going to go and work into my darker tone on these mountains, and just look closely now only in the darker shadows and drop a second tone. So as I look, for example, let me point this out to you. Look at like right in here. You see this? You see how there's two tones. There's a darker one right there, and of course a little bit lighter one right here. But both of those still are within the darker value area. So I'm not going to go. I'm going to respect that and stay within the boundary of just bringing in another layer of tone. I think my proportions are out, but we'll keep going. Okay. I don't know, Joe. I think you're going to be okay. You know, one nice thing about drawing landscapes, natural settings, Joe, is that your proportion can be off, but nobody will know. Unlike if you were drawing someone's portrait or something like that, you can't hide behind that. But drawing a landscape, we could get away with it. Ooh, that's probably too dark, but I'm going to own it. Sure. Okay, I'm going to move on down, I think, to my next. I'm going to move to this. Look at this here. I'm going to move this next mount. I'm going to move to this next mountain range here. And I want to make sure this edge is nice, kind of relatively sharp here. All right. And I'm just going to give this an overall light tone, I think, coming in over here. Because then it has a layer of a tree line, so we'll just do that with a shape. I'm just going to add some small little pencil hash marks. All right, you ready? We're going to do something big here. We're gonna do something big. I know you're not gonna expect what I'm gonna have you do next, but what I want you to do now is I want you to take your pencil and slowly tone in this whole area except your river. Leave your river the white of the paper. Nice, even tone. Don't go too dark. Even this big old tree over here. Go slowly. nice even tone. Now I'm squinting my eyes now. I'm squinting my eyes and I'm looking at this photograph. And I could see like this. Ooh, make sure I'm on a different layer. I'm looking at this. See all that? That's like one darker tone. Okay? And that tone also matches like right in here. You see this? Those two values match each other. So let's start off with, I'm going to leave those highlighted so you can see it. But let's just start right here and slowly add a darker value. Almost like I was stepping off an edge. And then the same thing, we're going to do the same thing. This right here, we're going to want to fade just a little bit, but we want to match that same dark value. This is where we are organizing our values. Aren't even getting into detail yet. And if you're using charcoal, I'm sorry, you're gonna be cursing me because you're gonna have a very dirty, you're gonna have a dirty underside right here. I'm sorry. Oh, he's making me. I'm gonna get smudges all over my picture. Well, you might a little bit. I'm sorry. Alright, don't go too dark yet, but we definitely want to have those a different value. Then I'm going to change the direction slightly of my, instead of going up and down, I'm going to go side to side. I'm just going to add a little bit of value into this river here. What's great by adding this tone underneath is when we actually start drawing our darker lines on top, we won't have the white of the page popping out, and that will create less contrast in these areas and drive our eye to where we want it to go, to where there is the maximum amount of contrast, that being the top of the trees that lead into this great mountain range in the background. All right. Let's go ahead and start working in some of these trees now. And I'm going to just start with like some straight up and down lines here. And I'm really thinking like almost as I'm drawing these, I'm going to think of like a cone. You see a cone, and on this outside, I'm considering just adding value to the left hand side there. You see that? That's what I'm thinking of. So I'm thinking of a cone, and I'm just going to add value on the right hand side. My bad. Okay, there's going to be looks like there's a dark one right down here, so I'm going to kind of rough in a cone, just like that, almost like a Christmas tree. And once you got that, then that's going to be your guide. I'm going to add like a center line for the trunk. And then I'm just going to come in and go slowly by just adding little branches coming out. It looks like there's and if they're too much like a Christmas tree, then, you know, break those up just a little bit. Looks like there's another small one over here, and you can change value up a little bit as you put these in. Look, there's a dark side and a light side to these pine trees, so try and pull that off. I'm gonna pause where I'm at with these trees because this will just take time. It's gonna take time to get those in, but let's work on the bank. Let's work on the bank over here. So right below the tree, I'm gonna work on the far bank, and I'm gonna come up with some straight vertical lines. I'm gonna look closely at it. Now really look closely, and if you notice these like one side is this dark, and then it gets a little bit to be the light. Do you see that? We want to be aware of that. I also notice on this edge over here, there's this thick line. You see that? It's like the shadow underneath the stream over there. Look how much it contrasts here. Be careful of this. Look right in here. You see that? See how deep of contrast it is between the shrubbery there and the bottom of the trees? Let's make sure that we don't, let's respect that, because that looks kind of neat. Don't worry if yours looks different than mine. I don't want it to be like mine. I want it to be yours. Look at that. Now look at this here. I've noticed as we're drawing. Let me erase this for a minute. Look at this over here. Look how the light, it's so bright coming in here. You see that? Where that sun is highlighting there. So we want to create some nice strong contrast there, okay? I'll leave that there for a minute so you can see what I mean. So I'm just going to come in and just darken all this. Another level back. By going very slowly over all this. Alright, I'm going to switch over now to this other bank, the one that's closest to us, and again, watch this. Right where the water comes in contact, it's like, see these scallops? It's where these shadows are. Add some surface lines. Tell you, sometimes when we sit down to draw these things, I think, oh my gosh, we're going to be done with this so fast. And then when we get into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of little marks on this page. And I'm going to tone this whole thing back another level, I think. Kind of adding some scallops in my water. Definitely some pebbles. Surface lines on the right hand side here. I got this tree coming in here. This all needs to go so much more darker. Oh, Mariana, thank you. You know, the thing is, it's just so much as just keep adding value. I haven't really added a lot of detail here, so just keep dropping in your darker values, and I'm sure when we see yours tomorrow morning, it will also look very nice. I can even see the trunk of this tree at little bits here. Don't rush it. Take your time. really look for those cones. Keep in your mind. Keep thinking of cones when you're adding shadow to these trees, and just keep thinking, I'm only adding value to the right side. Don't be afraid to go dark either. Darker tones. Seem like that's where when you really start getting a nice range of value within darker areas is when the magic happens. Right? Where are the verticals in the bank? Okay, so good question, Lynn. So I just see as these bushes come over, I could just let me kind of show you that. Good question. So I get this sense like they're coming around here like this, you see? It's almost like the stepping of a stairs. And then down here, these surface lines are going to go like this, following the surface. And one thing about surface lines, I often demonstrate surface lines by a trunk of a tree. And you might go around like this, and you might go around like that. And that will give you one sense, and then you can actually reverse it. And you will create a completely different optical illusion, you see? Well, the same thing works if you had like a riverbank like this. If I do this sort of thing, and then this up here is kind of flat, and over here there might be another riverbank. Okay, so this is how as I am drawing this riverbank over here. That's what I'm thinking of just those vertical lines that are going to give the suggestion that these things are going into the river. And I'm going to add another tone to my river so it's not the white of the page. Darken the edge of it. And then even here, as I'm doing the water, I'm thinking of scallop. I'm drawing like this to give the sense that there is a water surface per se. But don't rush it. Don't just, if I'm going too fast, just leave your page blank wherever it is. You could always come back and take a look at it. Of course, post it in Facebook group. And if I think that it really needs some TLC, I'll jump in and I won't leave you hanging. But if I think you're okay, I'm not gonna I won't do much. I'll give you a good like. I keep coming back and darkening my tones a little bit. All right, I'm going to what? Let's see, what am I going to do here? I have to erase this the hard way, I think. All right, there you go. You don't want that in your picture. Wow, look at that. Where'd the hour go, huh? I didn't do... all right. Looks like I've got some homework tonight to do. So I'm sitting back, I'm leaning back, and I'm squinting at my big drawing here, and boy, you know, I think this still is too light. So I'm gonna come in and not be afraid and just drop all this back with another tone of value. That's looking better. And I got to go back in and start adding more dark value. Man, we didn't even get to put in any of these clouds, huh? Let's see here. Let's see if I can just fake it till you make it, right? All right. Well, hey, listen, it's we're past our hour. Are there any other questions that I can help anyone with before we call it a done deal here? All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight, everyone. I want to thank everyone for watching. Do please like the video. We do have that 20 hands in 20 days coming up, so make sure you sign up for that class today or this afternoon or sometime this week. We start on Monday, and we will be meeting 3 o'clock every day to do that, and we will see how you do with that. So with that being said, my name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. This is our Monday Night Live. thanks for watching, everyone. And I always enjoy the chat. So I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? All right. Go out there, make your day great. Bye-bye.